Congress versus Twitter. Rahul Gandhi slams Twitter after account was locked.
It's obvious now that Twitter is actually not a neutral, objective platform. It is a biased platform, and it's something that listens to what the government of the day says.
Congress calls it an attack on democracy. BJP takes down Rahul Gandhi, calls it Congress hypocrisy.
Not just Twitter's policies. Rahul Gandhi is also in violation of Indian legal norms. National Commission for Child Rights has made a representation given the illegality of the matter, and therefore Twitter has been constrained to act as per the Indian laws.
Selective picking or due process. Politics explodes over Twitter action. Top focus on To The Point this evening. Good evening, viewers. You're watching To The Point. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. Well, after the repeated locking of many accounts where the Congress party was concerned, which included Rahul Gandhi's account, which was temporarily locked, Rahul Gandhi today slammed Twitter, saying that this challenges democracy and Twitter is interfering with the political system of this country. The BJP hit back, strangely taking Twitter's side and saying that this is due diligence, due process, and this is hypocrisy by the Congress. This is all how it.
Rahul Gandhi's Twitter account temporarily suspended. Congress official account locked. So were the handles of many other Congress leaders. The fallout of Rahul Gandhi tweeting pictures revealing identity of a 9-year-old Dalit rape victim. And Congress official handle and netas sharing the same tweet. Enough for a full-blown political attack by the main opposition, which claimed the microblogging site is acting at the behest of ruling BJP to muzzle its voice. Rahul Gandhi lashed out at Twitter, calling it a compromised and a biased platform.
Our democracy is under attack. We're not allowed to speak in parliament. The media is controlled. And I thought there was a ray of light where we could put what we thought on Twitter.
Congress cried witch hunt, claiming several BJP-linked handles and institutions had tweeted the same images, yet escaped the axe.
The National Commission for Scheduled Caste went there on 2nd August. They put their picture. The members of National Commission for Scheduled Caste put their pictures on 3rd August. Rahul Gandhi ji only went there on 4th August, 2 days thereafter. Why did Twitter not take any action or government not take any action against National Commission for Scheduled Caste? The truth is, this is a demand for justice for a Dalit girl. Government is trying to suppress it by pressurizing Twitter.
That same photograph, the parents' photograph, has been put out by the National Scheduled Caste Commission and then the BJP ex-MP. Why the double standard from a neutral platform like Twitter? It affects its credibility.
The microblogging site was quick to rubbish the charges. In an official statement, Twitter said that the tweets by Congress leaders was in violation of its policy and rules. It said the action was enforced judiciously and impartially for everyone. Twitter added that it has acted against several hundred handles after a complaint filed by child rights panel NCPCR. The BJP too lashed out at the Congress, accusing it of hypocrisy and double standards.
जब बीजेपी के नेताओं के ट्विटर अकाउंट ब्लॉक किए जाते थे या रोके जाते थे तो उनके प्रवक्ता कौन थे? ये कांग्रेस के बड़े बड़े नेता उनके प्रवक्ता बन के सामने आ जाते थे. अब क्या हो गया भैया?
So is this just action by Twitter or political vendetta? And amid the dying of the 9-year-old victim seems to have been forgotten at the altar of politics. Bureau Report, India Today.
So which is it, viewers? Is this all selective picking? This is what Rahul Gandhi said today. He also said that Twitter was interfering in the political process of this country. Or is this due diligence, due process followed by Twitter? Cutting across to our panelist, Dr. Ajoy Kumar from the Congress. He's with us. I have Shaina NC, Bharatiya Janata Party spokesperson. And I also have with me our tech editor from Business Today TV, Ayush Ailavadi. I want to go across to Ayush first, if our political panelists would allow. Ayush, what is in violation of Twitter norms? I've been going through Twitter the charge made by the Congress is also that as per the rule book, if that particular media, that particular picture in this context is available already on the Twitter platform through another agency and somebody uses it then it's not violation. Is that true?
So it's a little more convoluted than that. In terms of Twitter's statement, yes, it is quite letter of the law. In terms of what they've said, they have, of course, flagged this off because this is violating their rules. If you go on the Twitter Help Center, you'll find out all about it in terms of a tweet which they deemed objectionable because there is a complaint basis which they've taken this action. And the error message that the Indian National Congress also got that they put up on their Instagram shortly after was essentially that this was private information which was in violation of their guidelines. Now, the Congress spokesperson came on to News Track last night as well, and we discussed this on that show, where even though the National Commission for Scheduled Castes had put up this controversial tweet with this controversial subject matter, that had been flagged off and removed. Whether it was subsequently, maybe in a few days, but as we see it now on the Twitter timeline of the Commission, it doesn't exist. So just a very interesting policy or legal point, more than a purely tech standpoint, it isn't private information. It isn't in the public domain anymore. And that's something I was trying to say last night as well. So in terms of today's rejoinders and retort from the Congress party, well, it does seem that in terms of what Twitter is doing purely from a policy standpoint as a big tech company, they are still following the rules.
All right, well, I'm glad you put that out there. I want to cut across right now to our Congress spokesperson, Dr. Ajoy Kumar. Dr. Kumar, one would actually say it's interesting that wasn't this bias seen by the Congress when a lot of accounts of BJP personnel were being taken down by Twitter, locked, sometimes manipulated media, flagged? Why not then? Why do we see bias now when we didn't see bias then?
No, Preeti, I think it's a reflection of these strange times. Here is a child who was raped, and Mr. Gandhi went to pay his condolences and share with their sorrow. And he is hauled up by Twitter, and the Honorable Prime Minister and none of the BJP ministers have even tweeted on this awful crime. They have never tweeted on Hathras, they have never tweeted on Sonepat, they've never tweeted on these crimes against the children. And so the issue is...
Dr. Kumar, you're changing goalposts here, no? The fact is, it is against the law under the POCSO Act to put out pictures. The Supreme Court has come out and said very clearly that even in terms if the victim is dead and she's a rape victim, you cannot, under any circumstances, reveal the identity of the victim.
Look, so if the Twitter standards were so perfect, then let's start with Mr. Amit Malviya and the Hathras hate and the continuous hate on all Twitter handles. I mean, I don't know if you see continuously the right-wing BJP support handles and the kind which is still available. I mean, and after the show, Preeti, and some of them are even not worth sending the links. So I'm a bit, if Twitter is genuinely holding this rule of the land, then creating enmity between communities should be immediately stopped. Spreading hate on Twitter should be stopped. You don't see that. And what is most interesting, Preeti, is in the past 1 year, this government, first of all, clearly bullied Twitter into following its rules and regulations. That's one part. Whether they escape them, whether they connived is a different part. 2,700 advice from this government to Twitter to take down posts which are critical. Now, if Twitter is going to listen to the government, or even if you criticize this government...
Tell me something, Mr. Kumar, as I bring in China and I want to ask you one very direct question. What is the thinking of the Congress and your leader, Rahul Gandhi, here? At least, do you guys admit that this was wrong, that picture should not have been put out there? Whether Twitter is selective is another topic. At least do you admit it was wrong? It was against the law to put that picture out? Or are you saying, but we did it because?
No, we are not. See, the fact is, we went and met the family of the aggrieved person. Tell me something on Hathras. How many?
Again, this is whataboutery. I'm just asking you one question, sir.
You're going on.
It's whataboutery. Was it wrong or was it right?
This is going around like a merry-go-round.
I need to no, it's not going around, Shainaji, at all, because I need to ask you this question on Hathras.
No, I'll ask that question. That's for me to ask. That question is for me to ask. I'm asking you, Ms. Dr. Kumar, right or wrong of putting that picture out?
No, the first question is the picture was taken by somebody and already put up. The second question is,
sir, you've become quite a politician. Okay.
One second. So this is a thing that you're letting the murderers go scot-free.
Okay.
And for a minor infraction that you're saying that, oh, by the way, crossed.
Okay, I'm not going to get a straight answer from you now. I know that. Okay, on this. I want to bring in China NC, and I'm hoping you'd give me a straight answer too, because I'll tell you, Miss NC, what is of utmost intrigue is that your media cell head Amit Malviya will come out and actually make a public statement on how blasphemous it is that Rahul Gandhi put the picture out of the parents of this 9-year-old child. Mr. Malviya himself stands accused of putting the picture of the Hathras victim writhing in pain and kept it on his Twitter timeline for days, even though he was asked to take it down by the NCW.
So firstly, Preeti, Twitter said that the deletion of tweets and locking of accounts was being done in accordance with Indian laws and Twitter's own policy of enforcement of options of laws of a country that it operates in. Now, Mr. Gandhi clearly, by sharing a photograph which had the faces of not just the parents of the Dalit girl, but violated sections of the Juvenile Justice Act and the protection of children from sexual offences. Now, POSCO is a very, very serious charge. Both laws mandate that the identity of the victim should not be disclosed. This is not the Bharatiya Janata Party speaking. This is the Supreme Court of our country. Now, if Mr. Rahul Gandhi continues to have this kind of victim kind of strategy, I want to say, please don't be on social media then. That's not as if BJP leaders have also not been pulled off from a social media platform in the past. We have fought, definitely we have fought when it comes to synthetic and manipulated media, where there is tweets which have visibility of a particular propaganda. And if we have asked for accountability, saying that you have to be compliant with policies of the country, this has been discussed and deliberated for long. Now, the standard practice of the Congress party and Mr. Rahul Gandhi is, whether it's Pegasus, he will say my phone has been hacked and they've been tapping my phone, but will not register an FIR. If it is in this particular case, he will cry foul and say that I am being targeted, but not anybody else. Now, if there is a compliance which needs to be adhered to when it comes to children and sexual offences, I think we must understand that you cannot have a policy or a profile which is limited to one particular thought process for one person and a different one for another. So having said that, yes, we can debate about whether Twitter chooses to be, a mediary or chooses to be the judge, jury, and in many particular cases. But when it comes to POSCO, it is enforcing Indian law. So I want to say, for all those who are crying foul and trying to make a big propaganda inside and outside Parliament, come up with core issues which really make a difference. If we have done work for Dalits or for particular sections, we are not posting photographs of it. Our actions, our Prime Minister's actions speak louder than work. He's not into theatrics.
Ms. Shaina, let me also, I think you're also becoming a great politician. The same compliment I'd give you as well. I'll ask you that question again. Amit Malviya said that this is the hypocrisy of Rahul Gandhi. He didn't say anything earlier. Now he has a problem. Isn't it hypocritical of Amit Malviya to actually point fingers at Rahul Gandhi when he himself stands accused, madam, of putting out a picture of the victim herself writhing in pain, lying on a slab of concrete in Hathras?
Look, I don't think this is a competition of who said what and who did what. This is, you asked a question, why did Twitter do what it did? I'm not the spokesperson for Twitter and neither am I for the Congress party. But if there are such tweets which are put without this kind of, being cautious when it comes to POSCO and children which are sexually abused or raped, etc., and insensitivity, I think everyone who does any kind of post should be pulled out, because this is about the dignity of the family, the dignity of the victim, and these notifications
I'm glad.
sent via platform.
Ms. NC, I'm very glad at least you said that on national television. I'm very glad. Dr. Kumar, you wanted to come in. Go ahead, sir.
No, it's very rich for, for saying that, like, I'm surprised with the Shanaji's statement that Pegasus, we should file the FIR. Everywhere else in the world,
Of course,
all responsible
if you are saying you are
setting
the
up
victim
inquiry.
and there
No
is
one
nothing
said,
to
Shanaji,
prove
I
in a
didn't-
particular case.
Ms. NC, let him finish. I'll come back to you. Go ahead.
I don't interfere when you speak. I will request you to extend the same courtesy.
Okay.
Really appreciate.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Now, so the issue is very simple. The Bharatiya Janata Party is the party which has brought India to the worst ranking in terms of transparency of the press freedom. We are slipping into press freedom into the worst positions. They are the people in UP who arrest a journalist for publishing stories on polluted, on infected ration. They arrest people on reporting. And now they seem to be speaking on freedom and law. That, okay, they violated it. I'm asking you that every Twitter handle, and I'm just pulling out random guys who are BJP followed by the Prime Minister. Guys like, I don't want to even name and give them, the kind of Mitra or somebody, the kind of hate, all still going on, Preeti. And this is what we are finding it offensive, Mr. Gandhi, when they met the victim.
Sir,
right now on Twitter.
Okay.
Right now on Twitter, they're right now on Twitter.
Dr. Kumar, I'm sorry, can I come in? But this will help you. I'll tell you why, because we're dipping into news break. I want to quickly get our viewers up to speed with this news break right now. And the latest in the controversy over the Twitter crackdown over Rahul Gandhi's tweet, the Delhi rape victim's mother, the 9-year-old child's mother, has come out and says she has no objections with Congress MP Rahul Gandhi revealing the identity of her or her daughter. Rahul Gandhi had tweeted a picture of the Delhi rape victim's parents. The parent now has come out and said, I have no objections that Rahul Gandhi revealed my identity or the identity of my daughter. Dr. Kumar, that still is against the law. Even though the mother right now says that she's okay, absolutely fine, that her identity was revealed. She has no issues with it. But technicality-wise, it's still under the purview of the law is a crime. I want to hear the mother and then I'll come to Dr. Kumar. Go ahead. Can we play the mother's reaction?
आपके परिवार की फोटो राहुल गांधी ने आपकी मर्जी से ट्वीट की है, कोई आपत्ति है आपको?
हमको कोई आपत्ति नहीं, कोई आपत्ति ना कर रहे हैं तो वो अच्छा कर रहे होंगे, कोई खराब बात तो करेंगे नहीं बेचारे भी। और हमारे देखो आप फोटो पे चले जाओ, क्या घर का बवंडा ले रहा है।
All right, Dr. Kumar, the mother says no objections at all, but it's still a crime.
Look, Preeti, and you are a sensitive journalist. It's a strange time. I mean, Mr. Gandhi going and meeting bereaved family, raising this discussion. And we have a party and a prime minister and a government which has not treated or spoken or taken action against repeated crime against children. And if they are Dalit, all the more reason not to pay any attention to it. And if they are women, all the more attention not to pay it. And we are having I've been on a couple of TV debates on Mr. Gandhi meeting the victim. But and you might hold us guilty, hang us, but what about this government who doesn't care about these children?
Okay.
Who don't speak about
Okay, Shaina NC, I want to come in. Miss NC, I want to give you an example here. I want to give you an example. Please allow me, Dr. Kumar. I want to give you an example here. In Nirbhaya's case, Nirbhaya's mother came out and said, my daughter's name is Jyoti Pandey. I want the world to know it. I'm not ashamed. It's my prerogative to reveal that name. This mother says, I have no problem. Reveal my name. Get my child justice. Should the controversy end there now? She has no problem that the mother, her identity was revealed.
All I would say, Preeti, is let's have a little bit of sensitivity. Just for politicking and to take photographs and then make it into a controversy or be a part of a controversy, whether it is premeditated or it is an actual controversy, keep that aside. But if you have a 9-year-old Dalit girl who is raped and murdered in the national capital, I think you can do a lot without advertising that you even met them. And you're questioning us, please understand the synopsis is that you take proactive action on several hundred tweets if they are illegal and if they continue to break rules as per Indian laws and if they go against what we stand for. POSCO is a very serious charge. Please understand that the maturity of a leader and a politician and the sensitivity is shown by how they position. He could have very well said, met with the victim's family, and I will take up this issue in Parliament. That would be what a sensible senior politician would do. But here, you carry high risk, not just for yourself, but for society at large. This is about privacy. This is about safety. This is about child rights. And if you are not sensitive to these causes, then I think it's very unfortunate to be a senior leader and then deem yourself to be a victim.
But again,
in a situation when the
I'm sorry to
victim's
bring it up
identity
again.
needs to be...
Sensitivity can't be the prerogative of just the opposition. I gave you a prime example of how the BJP's media cell head, Amit Malviya, tweeted out a video, not even a picture, of a dying woman who was gang raped and murdered. So, it cannot be the prerogative just for the opposition. But
look, the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights clearly states that what is specific and what should be done and what should not. And being a leader in public life, the least you should have is sensitivity for a minor's family, minor's parents.
The way the NCW conducted itself during the Hathras incident was shameful. And this is something that I don't say. This is something which was echoed across the country. You and I both know what happened.
We didn't advertise and we didn't want to make it a photo op and theatrics. This was about genuine
Miss NC, if we talk about the conduct of the NCW and Rekha Sharma over the years, it's a slippery slope. Let's not go there. But I want to bring in Dr. Kumar again, because there is a point. There is a point that even China NC is making, Dr. Kumar, right now. The fact is, there are laws and you have to abide by them. You can't hide behind the fig leaf of sensitivity here.
And if at all you're not being sensitive.
So the question again is, you don't go after the big rats on the social media who spew hate, right? So if Twitter is so morally bound by law, then Preeti, I'm just saying, I open this Twitter and I look at guys like the lawyer who was arrested recently and released on bail, all these rights followed by the Prime Minister, followed by the Home Minister, spewing hate. They violate more.
How does that come in on breaking the law? Why is it so difficult to accept? Yes, we broke a law, we are sorry.
I'm saying that you have done something wrong and
can I complete, Shanaji? I don't interrupt. I don't get this. Why do you interrupt, ma'am? I don't interrupt you. Why do you interrupt? I don't.
That's a point. Miss NC, that's a point. Yes, go ahead. Quickly make your point, sir.
No, my question again is, are we in a situation in a country where we have this whole fire and works for an event when we know that there are much more serious violations happening across...
Dr. Kumar, I need to go in for a break and I will ask you this question again. Was this wrong or not to tweet out a picture when it is against the law, written law?
Our stand is that it was in the public domain and we repeated it. Our stand is and we are sticking by the stand what Twitter has it. No, you tell me something.
No, that's a grey area. My colleague made that very clear.
No, one sec. If it was a law, the BJP let them go. Let them take action.
All right. Okay, appreciate both of you for joining us. Clearly, we're not going to reach any consensus. You and I and our panelists might, you might be watching this debate. We might be debating it right here in the studio. But what did the mother think of it? It was the mother's picture that was tweeted out by Rahul Gandhi, and that has caused the furor. The mother, viewers, has come out and said that she doesn't mind her picture being revealed. Let's hark back to Nirbhaya's mother, who came on TV channels and said, my daughter is called Jyoti Pandey. Listen in to the mother. We leave it for you to decide what's wrong or right.
आपके परिवार की फोटो राहुल गांधी ने आपकी मर्जी से ट्वीट की है, कोई आपत्ति है आपको?
हमको कोई आपत्ति ना है, कोई आपत्ति ना है। कर रहे हैं तो वो अच्छा कर रहे होंगे, कोई खराब बात तो करेंगे नहीं बेचारे भी। और हमारे देखो आप फोटो कैसे ले जाओ, क्या घर का बवंडर ले रहा है।